All right, welcome to this episode of the GymInformer podcast. I'm Chris Gilbert, your host for this episode, and today our guests are IFBB Masters Pro Eric Eckenrode and his wife Nicole. I got a chance to work out at their gym last summer. It's a very cool, old school bodybuilding gym feel, fitness center. But before we get into the gym, let me take a pause and I'll show you the photos I took while I was at the gym. All right, Eric and Nicole, you guys have had this gym for like a decade now, right?
Yeah, it's our 10th year anniversary. We bought it, took over it in 2014. The gym's been here since 1996, though. But we
Okay.
took it over, yeah. And we, our theme is home of the independent trainer. So we wanted to have a place where trainers could run their businesses out of our footprint.
Oh, nice. And what was your thought process? Because you were a bodybuilder, obviously, for a long time. You don't get to be 56 years old and have those biceps without having been in the gym for a long time. What was your thought process when you decided like it's time to own a gym? Like, how did that come about?
We, well, I was a competitive bodybuilder back in the 90s. I started competing at 15 and then won the North America, my middleweight class in 1991. And then got home, came home, I lived in Vegas for a while, came home, bodybuilding lifestyle and well, not really the bodybuilding lifestyle, but the Vegas lifestyle could mess you up a little bit.
No,
Came home when I was 28, 29 years old. Try to work on my life a little different. Met my wife, met Nicole. I gave up bodybuilding for not training, competitive bodybuilding. I gave up competitive bodybuilding for quite a while, and but never stopped working out. We one of the reasons because we have 9 kids together,
Oh, wow.
one uterus. So like I tell people, the strongest bodybuilder on the planet is my wife. So that changed my values and my time some, taking care of a family, and always a personal trainer. So we had an opportunity to buy the gym, which was we wanted to, gym was gonna possibly shut down. So we had an opportunity to buy it. We put the house on the line. We put everything on the line for it with a mindset of we wanted to make this a independent personal training place for people like me, trainers like me, who anything shuts down, you go to work for the corporate, they take all the training money. So we wanted to be fair and build a community that allowed all the people that I know and love for all the years that I've been a trainer to be able to come and feel, at ease, with us running the gym.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, and not to get too much into business because we don't really talk a lot about business on our podcast, but how do you work that with personal trainers? Do they pay do they have a separate membership? Do their train have to have a membership?
Yeah, so I keep it as basic and as fair as possible. I charge one flat fee, a very reasonable flat fee a month, and then their clients become my members.
Okay.
And I don't have competing trainers. I'm a trainer, obviously, because I need to subsidize, the gym and my family. But I don't have in-house trainers to compete with the independent, so we don't give that corporate feel of stealing clients and things like that. So we try to make it as fair and as friendly as possible.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Now, when I was there, I remembered seeing some unique equipment. There was some of the standard stuff that you see at a lot of different gyms, but then you had a couple lines of equipment that I don't think I've seen at any other gym, and some equipment that even after 200 gyms, I don't think I've seen at any other gyms. Some old school stuff. Like, how do you guys decide like what equipment's going on in the gym for? What's the thought process?
So when I bought the gym, I the equipment came with it, which is very old school, very well maintained, and the Trotter. I don't think the companies are in business anymore. Trotter, Strive, and which one?
The Cybex.
Yeah, the Cybex. So we bought the equipment as it was, and then um, a couple of gyms closed down. We bought a whole bunch of equipment from them, which was still pretty old school. I like the old school feel. Obviously I'm of that era, and then we got new equipment after COVID. We got a belt squat. Now that I'm 56 and I can't squat with a bar on my back at all. Get the belt squat. We got a inverse curl with a gluteator, the booty builder, the hip thrust machine.
Right.
So we've added a little at a time. We got stair mills. We got a Jacob's ladder now. So anything just to keep the variety going, especially for the trainers. We got 20,000 square feet. So I like it. When we were pre-COVID, we were very busy with like close to 60 trainers. And even though it's 20,000 square feet, I like to keep things sort of balanced so not everybody crowds like on chest day or back day in one spot. So everybody has a little bit of space.
Oh yeah. No.
So it's sort of how I designed the gym. Now, as I like the old school equipment. If I can get something that's really calls my name to fit it in here, because we're so well equipped. I don't know if there's much more room. I'd have to swap out equipment, but I'm happy with what we got.
Yeah, no, and I was drawing a blank on the name, but some of those Trotter pieces, I haven't seen that line at any other gym, but it definitely had a unique strength curve, and it had some independent movement that you don't see out of a lot of modern equipment. And I thought that line of equipment was actually really cool.
Correct. Yeah, that's a probably 30-year-old piece of equipment that we have there.
Yeah, and it runs perfectly. You guys have done amazing, like keeping it maintained. So like, I really enjoyed using that equipment because it was just such a different feel. So very cool.
Great, appreciate it.
So from an atmosphere standpoint, it definitely seems like the gym is very much a get down to business kind of gym. Like it's not flashy, it's not like overdone. It definitely seems like it's come in here and get your work done and go live your life. Is that something that you guys like, that kind of mentality? Is that something you guys like try to create? And if so, like what have you done to try to create that environment in your gym?
Well, we bought it as it was. So what I always like to maintain is the cleanliness of the gym. I think the cleanliness is far more superior than having flashy marble and a lot of shine. So
Right.
we like the first impression to be, man, these are clean bathrooms, clean equipment. So that's what I focus the most on. And just the little things, especially the details are all in the cleanliness, I think, for the most part. But that's basically what when we took it over, we focused on, and it's worked. It's worked so far.
Yeah, you just try to create a clean, friendly environment that anyone off the street would feel comfortable coming working out in, or a professional bodybuilder like yourself would be comfortable working out in.
Correct.
Now, as you stated before we got into the podcast, you recently got your pro card in the Masters. So I'm assuming that's something that you're going to try to keep maintaining, competing and stuff like that. So with that going on, what's next for the gym? Are you guys happy with where the gym is? Is there some growth in the future of the gym? Will there ever be a second Team Eckinrode gym?
It's the second. My kids are actually asking me, a couple of my kids, about, Dad, if we could we, when they're 18 or so, 20, can we open up another gym and I can run it? So that's a possibility.
Right.
In terms of running a household with that many kids, and we also homeschool the kids. We right now maintaining is what our goal is right now. We do want to grow the membership, obviously. That's always a positive with that. But we do really, one of the things that we like to pride ourselves on is, it is the members that make the gym. Like they come in. We have great people who are focused on their desire to better themselves and their health and their wellness, and it just spills over to the person next to them. So it is very friendly in that type of manner. And, so it is a word of mouth type of issue that we really go off of. We don't have a large advertising budget. We do what we can, but we're always trying to maintain that balance too. We want to have enough people in the gym to keep us going and make it worth our time and energy we put into it. But at the same time, we don't want to get overly crowded. We're not looking to get, 3,000 members in the door, so everybody's bumping elbows and we have to put timers on everything. So from that perspective, we're happy with where we are currently. We do obviously want to grow the membership slowly over time some more, especially to get back to pre-COVID numbers. But yeah, I think the future in it is really, we've got a 19-year-old daughter, a 17-year-old daughter, and a 15-year-old son right now. Those are our oldest ones, some of our oldest ones. And, my 15-year-old son is one of the ones. He's just like, hey, what can I do? What would I have to do? What would it take to open up another location? And at that point, like if he still has that same drive as he moves forward, turning 18, it's a great, in terms of, again, going back to the homeschooling, it's nothing like getting your feet dirty, and getting in there and learning that versus necessarily trying to go for that 4-year degree that he may not or may use in whichever realm that he goes into. So we're lucky here also where our location is here in Montgomery County, Maryland. We have a great community college that you can take classes at the side while trying to do something to open a location or something. So that's what we see sort of with that growth.
Oh, that's super cool that your kids want to be involved in your business. I mean, that doesn't happen all the time anymore. Like a lot of kids don't want to have anything to do with, what's going on. And you guys have obviously done a good job of raising them. And I can even see just in the way you guys are sitting, like that you guys are still a solid couple. And that's awesome. How long have you guys been married?
22 years coming up.
22. This is the best advice that I can give any couple, Chris, is we go on date nights and pre-date nights. Pre-date night is Wednesday, not to be confused with date night, which is Saturday night. Because if you don't spend time as a couple, you will drift away. Unfortunately, that happens. So it's very important for us to make sure we stay tight on the same page as much as possible. And everything will overflow into the kids. That's our goal.
And the business really too, because honestly, it really comes down to, business is hard. There's a lot of decisions to be made. And sometimes it's like, he'll say, let's do this. And I'm saying, well, I want to do this. And it's like, well, you can't take that back home with you. You have to be able to cut that off at some point and be like, okay, business is business. Leave it there, and so far I think it's been working pretty well. So we always compromise and I do what she says.
Well, it's obviously you guys were a team because even the day that I was there working out, I met Eric at the front desk and he's like, "Oh, before you leave, you've got to meet my wife. She's the brains behind the business." So
that's right.
It was obvious that you guys work as a team, and it's awesome to see that. See a couple working as a team like that. My wife and I, this will be 29 years for us, so I get the kind of work that it takes to put in. So
excellent.
Now,
congrats.
Now, I didn't think. Are you going to keep competing though in the future?
Yeah, so I'm getting ready for. I'd like to do the Tampa Pro August 1st. And then the Masters World in Pittsburgh on September 1st.
Oh, nice.
So that's what I'm working on. And, I got back into the bodybuilding game because of my wife, which is really unheard of. She's the one that forced me to do this because I had zero inclination to compete again until, but
it looked really good.
I got my health back under control because, during COVID, there was so much going on, as you can imagine, health department stuff, mass stuff, people, hypersensitive people. It was I had 3 deaths in my family in 11 weeks. My brother, sergeant of police, DC police, died. And it was very difficult for me to not be mad, especially with, losing 60% of our business. So I got back into controlling the only thing that I knew how, which was me. And had great workouts because I was so angry, and changed my body completely. And then my wife tells me a week before a show, the Baltimore Classic in October 2022, "Hey, we should compete just to get our heads out of this." You want me to compete? Really? I did. I beat the kids. I did the Open. I didn't even do the Masters, and I had some friends that IFBB pro judges that came to see me. He says, "Dude, you would have gotten your pro card this year. You got to compete next year." So I did. And wife's support is what really keeps me going. I mean, my meals get, help. My kids help me with my meals. They understand that I have a goal, and it's sort of also inspiring my kids, to eat healthier and to work out and to take care of their bodies.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
Yeah, that's really cool. I'd love to see that kind of thing. And one of the things we always ask gym owners whenever we've had them on the podcast is there any, you guys have had the gym for a decade now, you've been through some ups and downs, you weathered the storm, you're still solid. Is there some advice that you would give to someone who's thinking about owning a gym? And obviously your son's thinking about owning a gym. So like, what advice do you have for someone else out there?
Well, I look at it for what we've been through for the last 10 years. Chris, honestly, it's not fun most of the time. At least it seems that way when you go through very difficult decisions, very difficult problems, let's say. COVID was horrible. The only reason why we made it through is because our landlords are saints, man. Our landlords are just wonderful people. And they understand that that we're serious about what we do and try to do the best we can. But when it comes to giving somebody advice, it's you got to grind. You got to grind, and you can't take it home with you. And if you are married, you better be tight with your spouse. I think that is the core thing, because no matter what happens, good, bad, ugly, indifferent, you're still together. So this is what matters. But taking a risk. I mean, taking a risk to open up a gym, it's a different kind of mindset, like what we did to take a risk and put our house on the line for it, which was her idea as well. Me as a guy, I'm like, oh, I can't take that risk. I got 6 kids at the time. But you got to have the right backing. You got to get the right person to help you, give you the confidence to keep going.
From a business perspective of it, I would say don't overextend yourself. Know what your risk assessment is. If I were to say now, looking back, I would also say really ask around about your landlord. I really have to say that.
Right.
We were lucky. We did not do that. We just landed with a great landlord. But there are landlords out there that we have now from other business owners that we've interacted with is, if they're jerks ahead of time. If they're going to be just bottom line people. I want my money, and you're going to get the bare minimum from me. I'm going to barely fulfill my obligations as a landlord. So just know that. You need to search around your landlord when you're looking at properties and ask the real questions. Does this landlord really hound people? What's going to happen if I'm late for a payment? That kind of stuff. I would say that the risk assessment in terms of how much money you're willing to put into it. Like you would with anything, you would want to invest in. We put our house on the line, but it was a particular amount that we were comfortable with, and we both just said, listen, we're gonna put this in. We're gonna see where it goes after a year, and then we're gonna reassess. And the whole time through, it's like, okay, how much are we willing to put back into the gym again this year? How much are we willing to invest in it this year? And do we think we're going to get a return on it? And all that understanding that, some kind of, like we just had back in December, a sewer backup into our gym. And, we're fussing now with insurance over who's paying and how much we're going to get to be able to put whole. All those kind of things, you just have to be able to see ahead a little bit and say, what do I have and how much am I willing to put into this? And then you're going to have to also just realize there's a huge time investment in it. There's a lot of times where I don't have somebody to work the front desk, it falls to us, and so you have to be ready and willing to do that, because you can't just close the doors to the gym and say, I don't feel like working. Once you're the owner, if somebody doesn't show up, you're the one showing up.
Right.
So be prepared for that too, and try to surround yourself with people that that are willing to help you out on a pinch. In some times like that, like we go, we never took vacations for the longest time just because we're starting up a business, trying to figure it all out. And I think it was like 6 years into owning the gym, we finally said we're going to take a break. We need a longer than a long weekend, and we went to the people that we knew we could trust and said, hey, can you be our backup if our staff doesn't make it in? Can you be our backup if we do have a sewer backup, that you can be the one that gets the plumber in for us? So we sort of built those connections to be able to do that too. So it's very important, go in every day with a good, positive attitude. You're going to find out that there's a lot of untrustworthy people out there. You're going to find out that there's a lot of people that, don't do business in a happy, friendly way. You've got to be able to overcome that with really a positiveness and a trust that is really hard to come by naturally. But once you get those things sort of in place and stuff like that, you do find that over time it gets easier to run the business and stuff like that. But you're going to have to go through those first, grueling, really probably 5 years are really grueling to really change to your whole entire lifestyle, because it will become the all-consuming until you build that network and build the trusted people up. So.
And we got great people. We got great friends that are willing to really do so many things for us. So she's right.
And our CPA is amazing. I love our CPA.
Yeah.
No, that's super great advice, and I don't think I had necessarily heard that the way you put it. You put it very well. Great advice, and I didn't have any other questions, but I thank you guys for coming on. You guys are awesome, and wish you lots of luck. And if your son decides to open up that second gym at some point, reach out, let me know. I'd love to come.
Oh, perfect. I appreciate your time, brother.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Good day.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more great content.